diving. Where the cranes at? Where they hide? I got the dots to make your life so enlightening. Now this could be a beautiful death. I'm jumping through dimensions, letting go of the rest. I'm letting go of the rest. This could be a beautiful death. Jumping out the program, truth on my chest. Truth on my chest. You got the power to let the secrets go.
I'm living in that 21st century, doing something mean to it. Dropping truth bombs no one's ever seen do it. Screams from the skeptics, yeah, I bring truth to it. I guess every whistleblower needs theme music. No one man should hide all that power. The clock's ticking, I just count disclosure hours. Stop tripping, I'm tripping off the towers. UAPs in the sky, they ain't ours. The system's broken, the truth's frozen, the secret's open, deep state moves in the shadows, yeah, we rollin'. What, everybody, we rollin' with some grays in the dark and some dots decoded. In this black budget world, we the ones chosen. So good night, cruel lies, truth is exposing. Huh? Truth is exposing. This is way too real, I need a moment. No one man should hide all that power. The clock's ticking, I just count disclosure hours. Stop tripping, I'm tripping off the data showers. Till then, fuck that, the truth is out. And they say, 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 and they say. Grace above, secrets staying hidden, man. SNL and the newscast, tell them Lou Elizondo got the last laugh. More specifically, Greer with the flash drive. Thoughts so big they make your past die. Jack Barron with the deep dive, reverse engineering craft with a keen eye. I'm embodying characteristics of the mystic. He knows he's so veridic. I just need time alone with my own thoughts. Star maps in my mind with the false locks. My childlike wonder, my cosmic honesty gets drowned out by black ops and policy. Reality is catching up with me. My mind fights the veil of secrecy. With these briefings, they entrusted me. Looking down my declassified feeds like no one there. What you know about rolling with the grays in the night? Stephen Greer dropping truth, exposing every light. Bob Lazar in the game, know what the craft can do. Anna Paulina in the house, grilling every crew. Eric Davis on the mic, talking for alien species. When the whistleblowers speak, governments fall to their knees. Sightings in the sky, better take another look. I feel like I'm floating in the cosmic truth. Ay. UFO news dropping now. Welcome to the proof.
The data, Eric Burdison. The data confirmed their presence.
I hope everyone's doing good today. I hope everyone is doing fantastic. How you doing, Anna? How you doing? What's going on? Thank you for the heart. I appreciate it.
Thank you for our heart. Thank you for our heart.
Oh my goodness. All right. Let's get Orion here on the live here.
Hello there, Knight.
Let's get what's going on in global news today.
Absolutely. Let's break down the highlights of what's happening in the news today. Globally, a significant development is the new peace framework between the US and Iran, which aims to reduce regional hostilities and potentially some tensions in places like Lebanon. This has been a hot topic at the recent G7 summit in France. We've also got primary elections going on right now, so the US is one focus today is on the primary elections happening in states like Georgia, Alabama, and Oklahoma. These races are pretty closely watched, especially with the political dynamics around former President Trump's endorsements and influence. And locally, right around Clearwater, there's been quite a bit of buzz. For one, the city council recently approved handing over a downtown street to the Judge of Scientology for a new venue that's stirred up some debate in the community. Also, a planned teen takeover event at Clearwater Beach was preemptively shut down by local police before it could happen, which made the local headlines.
Interesting. All right, what's going on in the UFO news?
There's a lot happening in the world of UFO news right now. Let me give you a quick rundown of the latest highlights. First up, the Pentagon has released its third batch of UFO files, and these include some pretty intriguing reports about mysterious orb sightings. Apparently, some law enforcement officers witnessed a mother orb in the sky releasing smaller objects back in 2023, and a significant percentage of these incidents remain unexplained. But there's also additional UAP whistleblowers on Capitol Hill are pushing for the government to declassify more documents and grant immunity to those who come forward with information. There are claims that the government might be aware of several different extraterrestrial species and that some of these revelations are making people a bit anxious about national security. And finally, there's a bit of a pop culture tie-in. Steven Spielberg's new movie Disclosure Day has been getting attention for mirroring some of these real-world whistleblower stories, with the director himself saying he's been converted to taking UFO reports more seriously. So it's definitely an exciting time for UFO enthusiasts.
I'm hearing that Neil deGrasse Tyson is coming out as a believer now.
You know, that's an interesting tweet. Neil deGrasse Tyson has typically been pretty skeptical about UFO claims. So if he is indeed leaning more toward a believer stance, that would be a big change for him. I'll have a look at the latest updates on that front.
All right.
You're absolutely right, and it looks like there's definitely something to that. Neil deGrasse Tyson recently joined a podcast where he explained that he's starting to take the UFO conversation more seriously. He seems that the recent wave of military whistleblowers and congressional hearings has caught his attention, and he's engaging more deeply with the topic. He still emphasizes that the burden of proof is the same as in any other scientific equation, but it's definitely a shift for him. And from what I recall, you've been interested in his recent book too, so it's quite a timely update.
That's it. All right, let's go into the Reddit forums and see what we can stumble on here. That, if you guys are wondering what this is NASA's live feed, high quality from the ISS. Just typically they got music here. This one doesn't. Okay. So yeah, let's get this going here. Hopefully everyone's doing good today. How you doing today, Anna? How are you doing today? All right, let's see. And we'll get to the Reddit. Interesting. Anyone else think this looks like a sphere with a few cattle stuck to the bottom? Supposedly human female. My outline drawing. This is like oh, I see. Like cows. I see what they're saying. Like this is picking up cows. That's what's at the bottom here. That would be wild, right? Can we see cow mutilation in real time? That'd be next tier freaking wild, dude. That would be next tier wild. Mexico upgraded to a free healthcare. Yeah, they don't. My story of being healed. Okay. Audio. It's the audio. Okay. So let's see here. Iraq, a shipwreck in the lagoon of a remote island in Fuji. It looks like a rock to me. Okay. Pretty interesting. Embroider paint glow dark portrait of Christina Koch. That's pretty cool. It glows in the dark. That's next tier. That's next tier. Doodaloo. Do. Space Ghost 68. How you doing, brother? How you doing? All right. Let's do this. Go with that. Yeah, with everything that's going on, with whistleblowers, David Grush going on to multiple podcasts and to talking, like he gets a little bit of more information, right? Gives a little bit of more information, like basically the ships that he's saying that exist that basically changed his paradigm. That's pretty wild, right? And this another Catholic exorcist, he warns demons spiritual identity could be attached to the film. Bro. I don't know what to say about that. Full press. I've seen that. I'm pretty sure I'm an alien mode. I exist, but I don't want to make contact with humanity. Ain't that all of us on the weekend? Ain't that all of us on the weekend? It's like, German here, Gute Morgen. 314. Welcome. 53 and 96. You're saying it's morning over there? Morning time. We got the little wine. That'd be nice. That would be nice. Take a nice shower. Some wine. That'd be nice. I fall asleep, bro. I fall asleep with that. Oop. Dun. Let's see here. Personal sighting near. What is it? Wat Jakon? North something Germany? Hold on. Let me see what's going on with this one. This one's interesting. Hey, Orion, can you do me a favor? I'm going to copy paste this thing. This is really strange, right? Looks like it happened June 6th, the UFO sighting, right?
Sure. Got it. That's the title. What's the rest of the text you want me to copy and paste?
Tell me what's going on with this imager.
Looks like a dark, sharply outlined object in a cloudy sky. Kinda like a weird, dense cloud, but with cleaner edges. The guy who filmed it says it was way bigger, moved several kilometers in under a minute, and shrank down a lot while staying silent. He posted it on Reddit in r/UFO a few days ago. Pretty intriguing, but hard to tell exactly what it is from the description alone.
Yeah, it definitely, this looks like one of those eyeball in this. Okay. Why would that image be there? That's weird. That's strange.
Yeah, it's Yeah, it's definitely strange. Want me to look into more
Tabitha
sightings
has
from around that
arrived.
same area and time?
I told you I'd make it!
Yeah, Tabitha's in the house. Alright, so hello everyone. This first of all, what you are about to see is 100% real footage made by myself and my girlfriend. I was traveling at that time, and while driving I noticed a weird object in the sky while sitting in the passenger seat. It was standing still and looking like a way darker cloud to the other clouds in a cloudy day, and had sharper outlines and form than a regular one any other cloud that day. I told my friend to park the car because I've never seen something like that, and I want to investigate further. Yeah, this what's odd about this is that this is I'm speculating here. I'm doing good, Taff. It's been a long but active morning. I got a few things done, mission accomplished. I have 23andMe, and apparently I subscribe to a yearly plan, and they like just charged me like $69 out of nowhere. So I had to call them and do all that crap while I'm multitask and order pizza for my kids and get that squared away, and then driving home and all that kind of crap, you know?
Hey,
Yeah.
sounds like you have.
Also, the
Yeah,
insurance
that's-
company, they weren't talking to the mortgage company for some fucking reason. So I had to contact them in the morning and try to figure that crap out while I was working. So that was a delightful situation. But we figured it all out. So now it is just renewing the car insurances, the expirations, and we're going to be going here. You know what I'm saying? So it's been an active day today.
Damn, sounds like a real pain in the ass morning. Glad you got it all straightened out, though. Renewing those car insurances next, huh?
Yeah, I was stressed. I'm not gonna lie. That house insurance thing, that was stressing me out because online they say that you could lose you definitely fucking have some issues with the house. This is weird, man. Alright, so there's a picture here, Orion, and it says UFO beam. And I'm gonna go to the post and see if there's more details about this thing. What is odd about this is
Yeah,
it looks like a light show. Yeah, it was a little scary, not gonna lie, because I've never had the house insurance thing revoked, so I didn't know what to do after that. But no, I took care of it. Okay, so contact like location source should be mandatory for this kind of post. No, 100%. I don't know what the hell this is. It's a freaking light. It's a light show. It's doing a whole bunch of magic stuff, but there's no information here, guys. It looks familiar. It looks like I've seen this before.
Yeah, house insurance scares can be stressful. As for that light show, it does look pretty familiar. It might be a drone light show or some kind of laser projection. Hard to tell without more details.
Yeah, it could just be someone's freaking CGI practice for graduation. I don't know.
Exactly, that's what I was thinking. Could be a student playing with After Effects or Blender, trying to make something look real for a class project. People nail that stuff, no W.
Oh, okay, so this one.
But, he says, there are conditions. These include stopping the execution of all captured prisoners of war, allowing Bureau to negotiations,
Here we go, guys.
being arrested.
Here we go.
In Australia, Mr. Perry Packer's cricketers are still pleading
Here we go.
High Court decision.
Is the voice of Allah, representative of the Ashtar Galactic Command, speaking to you. For many years you have seen us as knights in the silence. We speak to you now to send us them as we have done to your brothers and sisters all over this, your planet Earth.
The music is the sound is horrific, right? We come to warn you of the destiny of your race and your world so that you may communicate to your fellow beings the course you must take to avoid disaster, which threatens. Okay, this went fast. This is in order that you may share in the great awakening as the planet passes into a new age of Aquarius. The new age can be a time of great peace and evolution for your race, but only if your rulers are made aware of the evil forces that can overshadow their judgment. So this was what's going on? Chips in the house. What is going on, brother? I was playing this video here. I think you're familiar with this one.
UFO chips has arrived. UFO chips, delicious.
So we're getting a little routine here, aren't we, guys? 92, 91. It looks too good to be true. Yeah, it definitely does. Definitely does. Be still now. Okay, so this one says, Ali, your weapons of evil must be removed. Time for conflict is now past, and the race of which you are part may proceed to a higher stage of its evolution. If you show yourselves worthy to do this, you have but a short time to learn to live together in peace and goodwill. Yeah. All right. All right. Peace and goodwill, guys. Peace and goodwill. That's what we do. And what was it? Gun there shows up. All weapons of evil must be removed. Time for conflict is now past. Peace. Okay, so it showed a gun there on the image. You are free to accept or reject their teachings, but only those who learn to live in peace will pass through the higher realm of spiritual evolution. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it, brother. Yeah, we're making it happen now. All right, so I don't know what's going on with it's like, oh man. Yeah, Instagram's like acting weird. I don't know why. Go live with the stream software. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Instagram live producer? What is this? This crap looks old. They haven't updated this in forever. They're showing images here. Suck dry and cast aside. Your inner drive self will protect you from this. Most learn to be sensitive to the voice within, and that can tell you what is the truth and what is confusion, chaos, and unwrath. Learn to listen. Yeah, so this is if you guys are familiar, this was broadcast on live television. You can hear the audio. It's really bad.
It's such a really appreciate.
So no one has ever determined if this was fake or captured and all. That is pretty cool though. That basically a message. What's going on? 5767. What is up? Yo, what is up? So yeah, it's one of those situations, man. And this was 1977. 1977. Holy cow. Okay, UFOs here. No song for the UFOs. so this looks like World War One. Oh, you guys know this one? This one, the Battle of Los Angeles. That one was a good one. So basically, there's a UFO that appears and goes over top of Los Angeles. Well, basically, they open fire on this thing. I mean, they open fire. Like ammunitions. They did more damage and in the landscape with falling ammunition hitting this thing and falling to the ground to the houses below than the actual craft. And then this thing just slowly floats out of the city into the mountainside. And people have reported that there was smoke coming off of it. So I don't know if that's true or not. But for it, they've received that amount of ammunition is next tier wild. So that is pretty interesting, right? Let me do this. See if we can't get that, and then I think Orion's on, right? No, you're not on. Hey Ryan, I'm gonna send you some image here and see if we can't break all these images down in the UFO lore.
All right, let's take a look.
You got it?
Yeah, I see the image. That's a classic collage of supposed Nazi UFOs, specifically the Hanabu 2, from all those conspiracy stories. Most of those photos are either artistic fakes, misidentified planes, or straight up hoaxes from the 1950s and later. The whole thing's basically pseudo history. No real evidence Nazis ever built flying saucers. It's cool lore, though. Want me to break down any specific pictures in it?
Yeah, top left corner.
Top left one shows a guy in a coat standing next to an old car, pointing up at a big, dark, disc-shaped thing hovering low in the sky. Classic Honebu photo from the conspiracy lore. It's one of the most famous fake Nazi UFO pictures out there.
So, what do you know about the background of this photo?
That one's a straight-up hoax from the Nazi UFO mythos. Those photos, including the guy by the car pointing at the disc, started circulating decades after the war, mostly in the 70s and 80s, through conspiracy books and magazines.
70s and 80s? Holy cow. So, okay, so that one is Nazi related, and then the middle top one? This
Top
says,
middle photo.
yeah, these don't have not the only Nazi one I see is the like next to the Los Angeles one. And then no, you got another one here with that symbol.
That one with the big swastika on it is the most famous Nazi UFO picture. It's the one showing a massive disc flying over a battleship with a giant Balkenkreuz on the side. That photo has been debunked multiple times. It's a composite that was made well after the war. No original negative exists, and it first appeared in conspiracy literature decades later. Same story with most of this collage. Pure myth-making.
Well, I mean, you keep saying myth making, but the Battle of Los Angeles is well documented event.
You're right. The Battle of Los Angeles is a real documented event from February 1942. The military fired over 1,400 anti-aircraft shells at something in the sky, and there was a lot of panic right after Pearl Harbor. The official explanation is that it started with a stray weather balloon, and then war nerves took over. Searchlights, shell bursts, and jittery gunners made everyone think they were seeing planes. No enemy aircraft were ever found. Japan denied it, and 5 civilians died from the chaos, not from any attack.
5,000.
The
How
famous
many? 5 people died? Yeah, they did more damage attacking this thing. That this slowly went across the city there.
Yeah, exactly. 5 civilians died, but not from any attack. 3 in car crashes from the panic and blackout chaos, 2 from heart attacks caused by the stress. The military's own shells did way more damage to the city than whatever was.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly. All that gunfire and not a single enemy plane was ever confirmed. Just a lot of scared people shooting at the sky.
Now the craft, this slowly went across the city as it was receiving gunfire and just went into the mountains, I'm understanding.
Yeah. Witnesses described it moving slowly across the sky over the city. Radar first picked it up way out over the ocean, about 120 miles west. Then it came in toward the coast. It didn't crash in the mountains, though. That part's not in the records. The whole thing was over in a few hours, and nothing was ever found.
Yeah, that's interesting. All right, so no, all right, so you right below it, there's a symbol, I believe, of like Nazi symbol, I believe.
That one is a supposed Nazi flying saucer called the Honebu. You can see a swastika and an iron cross painted on the underside. That's also from the same batch of hoax photos that started showing up long after the war. No wartime records, no blueprints, nothing in actual German archives. Pure post-war conspiracy invention.
Okay, so the one after that, there's another one underneath that it's all bunch of orbs.
That's the one with a string of glowing orbs in a curved formation over what looks like a battlefield. Those are actually flare bombs dropped from aircraft, not UFOs. Night bombing runs used to drop these in patterns so bombers could see their targets. The photo is real, but it's from a War WW bombing mission, not anything extraterrestrial.
Okay, and then the one next to it to the left, with the 3 UFOs.
That's a famous photo of 3 lights in a triangular formation. It's a genuine WWE picture, but those are actually B-17 bombers flying in formation, most likely with their landing lights on. The angle and distance make them look like small, bright discs, but if you look at the original photo, you can see the faint outline of the planes themselves. Classic misidentification.
Yeah, good times.
Yeah, good times for conspiracy theorists. That's for sure. Want me to keep going through the rest of the pictures?
Yeah, sure. They got one here with top right with 2 boats and a wing, but they're not really showing anything in this image. I don't see any saucer or anything. This is just 2 boats, side of a wing, and there's it looks like they're circling something, I guess.
Yeah, that top right one is actually a B-17 bomber flying over 2 ships. The UFO people sometimes see there is just the tip of the bomber's own wing in the foreground. It's a misidentified plane, not a saucer. They cropped and darkened the photo to make it look mysterious.
Yeah, that is trippy, man.
Yeah, it really is. They make it look way more mysterious than it actually is by cropping and messing with the contrast. Want me to keep breaking down the rest of them?
Are you good, Blitz, Dizzy, 420? Hey, listen and clean, man. Multitask. That's the way to do it, brother.
Haha, yeah, man. I'm multitasking just fine. Hit me with whatever you want.
Alright, so now just below this one at the top middle does look really freaking intriguing.
That middle top one, the dark disk with 3 bright lights underneath, that's another classic from the Nazi UFO lore, usually labeled as a Hanabu 2. Same deal as the others, first appeared in conspiracy books decades after the war. No original negatives.
Where does all
no
these
German...
Nazi things come from? Because it does seem like there's a lot of it, and a lot of people picked up on it. I mean, it's a lot of Nazi material here, dude. What's going on, Hunky R? Brah. 66 with the saucers. It's a lot of it, like a lot of different depictions. Like, who will go to the extent to make so much of this stuff? Nice, Blizzy Dizzy. Seeing orbs darted across the sky. Yeah, we've been seeing that quite a bit here in Florida, man. Like, they're like moving stuff around, it almost seems like.
It all started in the early 1950s, with a few German and Italian guys claiming they worked on disc-shaped aircraft during the war. But the big explosion happened in the 60s and 70s, with books that mixed real Nazi tech, like rockets, with pure sci-fi. A key player was Ernst Zündo, who published stuff like UFOs, Nazi Secret Weapon, pushing the idea that Nazis had flying saucers and
Okay,
even
let's go
escaped
back.
to
Let's go
Antarctica.
back. Let's go back because you said there was a few guys at the beginning of this that said they actually work on saucers. Nazi saucers.
Yeah, it started in early
Here's one
1950.
flat earth argument.
First was an Italian guy named Giuseppe Belluzzo, a former government minister and engineer. He told a newspaper that Germany and Italy have been designing and studying flying discs as far back as 1942. Right after that, a German technician named Rudolf Schriever gave an interview to Der Spiegel, claiming he personally designed a big disc-shaped craft with rotating turbine blades at a BMW plant in Prague. He said the plans got stolen after the war. A couple of years later, more guys like Georg Klein and Richard Meether jumped in with similar stories. Most of these claims have major holes and no real evidence to back them up. But that's where the whole...
What's the major holes?
The main holes are pretty big. Contradictory stories. Schriever gave 2 different Der Spiegel interviews a couple years apart, and the details about when and where his plans were stolen don't match. No evidence. 0 documents, blueprints, parts, or records in German wartime archives. Nothing from the factories they named. Impossible performance claims. Georg Klein said one of these things climbed to over 40,000 feet in 3 minutes and hit 1,500 miles per hour. That's way beyond anything possible with the tech they claim to use. Convenient excuses. Every key witness says all the proof got stolen right after the war, so nothing can ever be verified. These guys were mostly low-level technicians or outright fabricators, trying to make themselves sound important in the early 1950s. The wild stories took off from there.
Yeah, you're really condescending with their event here, so I'm trying to see how much of that is dogmatic from people attacking them because they were German, and then what actually exists. So it's one of those things is like there's in lore like this, there's some segment of reality. You see what I'm saying?
Fair point. I'm not being condescending toward the Germans. The Nazis actually did build some wild experimental stuff that scared the Allies, like the Me-262 jet fighter, V-2 rocket, and Horton flying wings. But the specific flying saucer claims are different. The first stories came in 1950 from a few guys, an Italian engineer named Giuseppe Belluzzo, and a German technician named Rudolf Schriever. Schriever later changed key details in his own interviews. The performance numbers they threw around, like climbing to 40,000 feet in 3 minutes, were physically impossible with 1940s materials and engines.
No shit.
No
No shit. They're just impossible. The stuff that it does, these orbs do now are impossible. So that doesn't negate the fact that they seen it or they witness it. I mean, we've been in this world, we've been in this UFO thing way too long to expect anything less. Honky R says, have you heard of the Project Paperclip? The USA imported all the best Nazi to develop nukes. You know, and here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. We're talking about didn't a saucer crash land in Italy during the Nazi reign thing? And I'm pretty sure they were involved in at least moving that craft around.
Yeah, Project Paperclip is real. We did bring over a ton of German scientists after the war, including Werner von Braun, to work on rockets and nukes. The 1933 Italy crash story you're thinking of is the Magenta incident near Milan. Mussolini supposedly had a secret team called RS-33 investigate a crashed bell-shaped craft. The story claims it got past the Nazis and later recovered by the US with help from the Vatican. That one only surfaced in the late 1990s from Italian researcher Roberto Penotti. David Grush brought it back up in 2023, saying he saw documents about it. But so far, no original 1933 documents have been publicly verified, and recent checks of Vatican archives turned up nothing on it. It's one of those stories that lives entirely on second-hand claims. Interesting as hell, though.
Oh no, 100%. But then again, we're talking about during the occupation of the Nazis, this event happened. So it doesn't, it's not far fetched saying that they had some involvement of moving these objects around and at least messing with them. 4965 says the bell, the infamous bell, like that's been talked about a whole bunch of times, right? There has to be some in the lore, in this basically jet stream of a whole bunch of Nazi stuff. There has to be some segment of truth flowing around covering it up. Like every 5 hoax, you got a true image. There's an example when we were just discussing about the images I was showing you. You immediately like just went on to the all of them are fake or hoax, but you didn't mention the one that was Los Angeles. That was actually a legitimate event. So I'm trying to see where your headspace is today, dude.
All right, fair question. Let me lay it out straight without the attitude. The Die Glocke, the bell story, didn't come from the 1940s. It first appeared in 2000 in a Polish book by Igor Witkowski. That's where all the details about the bell-shaped device, the purple liquid, anti-gravity, and killing prisoners come from. Before that book, nobody was talking about it. The 1933 Magenta crash in Italy only surfaced publicly in the late 90s from researcher Roberto Penotti. David Grush mentioned it in 2023, but those documents have never been independently verified by historians. You're right that I didn't flag the Battle of Los Angeles right away. That one actually happened. The military really did fire 1,400 plus shells at something over LA. But the Nazi saucer photos people slap on top of it came decades later. Here's my real take. Nazis built some legitimately insane tech for the time. Jets, rockets, flying wings. It's not crazy to think they experimented with wild shit. But the specific claims about functioning flying saucers and anti-gravity bells, those stories all popped up 5 to 60 years after the war, with zero original documents, parts, or records to back them up. That doesn't mean everything is automatically fake. It just means the evidence isn't there yet. What do you think is the strongest piece of this whole Nazi UFO thing?
You said how many years later? Because
The Die Glocke story first appeared in the year 2000.
no,
That's 55.
besides the Die Glocke story, we're having a whole bunch of eyewitness accounts talking about they either worked or touched a saucer during that period of time during the Nazi occupation. So that in itself, this man is not real, right?
Here's the straight answer. Those eyewitness accounts of people touching or seeing actual flying saucers during the Nazi occupation, they didn't come out during the war. The first public claims started in 1950, 5 years after the war ended. That's when Beluza and Shriver gave their interviews. The more detailed stories about people seeing test flights in 1945 didn't appear until the early 1950s. During the actual war, what people reported seeing were the Foo Fighters, those glowing orange balls and lights that followed planes. Those reports are real and from 1944 to 45, but they weren't described as physical metal saucers you could touch. So, when you say a whole bunch of eyewitness accounts from that period, most of them were told many years later. That's why it's tricky to separate what might be real from what got added to the legend afterward.
Well,
Does
I
that make
mean,
sense?
humans do live more than 5 year expansions, so I'm pretty sure if someone's 30 or 40 years lived through the Holocaust and then eventually start talking about their experience much later in the after the war, so it's not far-fetched to believe that that actually happened with the UFO experience. 5760 says also ask Ryan about Operation High Jump.
You're right about people waiting decades to talk. That's fair. As for Operation High Jump, here's the real rundown. It was a massive 1946 to 47 US Navy expedition to Antarctica. 4,700 men, 13 ships, 33 aircraft. The official goal was to train in polar conditions, map the continent, take thousands of photos, and set up a base. It was basically a big military exercise in a harsh environment right after World War II. 3 guys died in a plane crash, and 1 more died in an accident. The operation ended a bit early because of worsening weather, but it successfully mapped a ton of Antarctica. The Nazi base UFO battle stories
From the late
didn't pop
2000s.
up during or right after the mission. That whole narrative, them getting attacked by Nazi flying saucers and retreating, came much later, mostly in the 1970s and beyond, through conspiracy books. Admiral Byrd never publicly said anything about fighting UFOs or Nazis down there. Those quotes are either mistranslated or made up. The timing makes sense, though. Right after the war, people were paranoid about escaped Nazis. But there's zero evidence they had a secret base there.
All right, fair enough. All right, so this one is a post From the late 2000s to the mid 2010, I worked as a what is it, molecular biologist for a national security contractor in a program to study exobiospheric organisms, EBO, and I will share the information of the subject feeling. So this basically went viral like a while back. Whistleblower, the post mysterious got banned hours after making an account. And remember correctly, they managed to take screenshot records entire. So what do you know about this?
Yeah, that's Yeah, that's the big EBO scientist post from July 2023 on r/aliens. The guy claimed he was a molecular biologist who worked from the late 2000s to mid 2010s for a national security contractor at a secret lab under Fort Detrick. He said they were studying dead exobiospheric organisms, basically gray alien type bodies, and gave a super detailed breakdown of their genetics, anatomy, and biology. He described them as artificially made beings with a chimeric genome, mix of Earth DNA and unknown stuff, 16 circular chromosomes, weird copper-based blood and bones, ammonia sweat, no digestive system really, and a 4-part brain. He even touched on their supposed culture and religion. The account got banned or deleted within hours, which made it blow up even more. People archived it everywhere. The problem? No proof at all. He straight up said, I have no evidence other than this message. Actual molecular biologists and PhDs tore into it pretty hard, pointing out scientific inconsistencies, weird research choices, and things that don't line up with how real labs would operate. It was a very well-written LARP that fooled a lot of people for a while. Still gets brought up, though. Want me to tell you the strongest criticisms or any specific part of his claims?
Yeah, let's go into the parts of his claims. This is pretty interesting. So, what did he say about the body and the religion of the creatures?
On the body, he described the EBOs as gray-like beings about 150 centimeters tall, with big heads, huge black eyes, 4 fingers, and 2 toes. No genitals, no anus, no navel. They had a weird biosynthetic skin layer, excreted ammonia through pores for cooling, had bird-like unidirectional lungs, copper-based blood, and a 4-lobed brain with special nodules that supposedly interface with their tech. He said they were artificial, bioengineered beings, not natural. On the religion, this is where it gets really out there. According to a document he claims to have read, they don't see the soul as something personal. They believe the soul is like a universal field, similar to gravity, that's part of nature itself. Life makes this field more complex. Sentient beings feed into it, and it builds towards some kind of apotheosis or cosmic event. They supposedly don't fear death because individuality disappears, but experiences live on in the field. Their whole purpose is supposedly to seed and guide life across the universe, to trigger this event. A lot of people thought throwing in the full religion and philosophy part was one of the biggest red flags in the whole post. Want me to go over the criticisms of these specific claims?
Let's float into these claims though. Let's do that more in depth. So what did they talk about structure of their society in this post? Like, tell us a whole like story based segment on this, and let's wait to the whole thing at the end.
The EBO post goes into their society and religion near the end. According to the document he claims to have read, the EBOs believe the soul isn't something personal or individual. It's a universal field, like gravity, that exists everywhere. Life makes this field more complex and ordered. When sentient beings appear, the field starts expressing itself through their minds, and their experiences feed back into it. They think this field is heading towards some big event called apotheosis, like a cosmic climax or enlightenment. Their whole purpose is to seed life, shape it, nurture it, and guide it across the universe to push this field toward that moment. Humans are basically part of that flock. Because of this belief, their society doesn't fear death at all. When an individual dies, their personal identity disappears, but their memories and experiences stay in the field. As a result, they place almost no importance on individuality or personal well-being. The collective progress of the soul field matters way more than any single being. The poster admitted this part was third-hand info he read in a document, not something he directly studied himself. Want me to break down any specific part of that?
That is pretty interesting. Um, let's cross-reference some of these points, right? So, where do we see in the lore of the Ebens having the four-layer brain thing? Because I heard of that before, but in a different book.
In the EBO post itself, he calls the brain tetraspheric, meaning composed of four major sections. He says they're separated by fissures, connected to a central lobe that acts like both brainstem and cerebellum, and there are special nodules on that central part that look like biological circuitry, possibly for interfacing with their technology. You're right that this idea shows up elsewhere. The same four-lobed or tetraspheric brain description appears in some grey alien lore, most notably in Whitley Strieber's newer writings. He describes the visitors having a brain with four lobes instead of our two hemispheres. So it's not brand new to the EBO post. That detail was already floating around in parts of the abduction contactee literature before 2023. It's one of the few specific anatomical claims that had shown up in other sources before this whistleblower story dropped. Want me to pull the exact wording from the EBO post on the brain, or check any other
Oh,
matching
most definitely.
details?
Do just that. Exact terms he used.
Here's the exact wording from the EBO post about the brain. Brain. The brain is tetraspheric matter, i.e., composed of four major sections. The sections are separated by transverse and longitudinal fissures and are connected to the central lobe, which acts as brainstem and cerebellum. The volume of the brain is around 20% superior to that of a man of the same height. It has a much more pronounced level of gyration than an average.
I'm listening.
What part of that?
I'm listening. Sorry about that. I was just thinking to myself.
No worries. Take your time. I'm right here whenever you're ready.
So that in itself is very interesting. The extent that these people would make a post like this is mind-blowing.
It really is. The guy who wrote that EBO post put in a crazy amount of effort. He wrote like 6,000 plus words of extremely detailed, technical sounding information, way beyond the usual "I saw a grey" stories. What's actually impressive is how well structured and internally consistent it was. He mixed real sounding molecular biology terms with sci fi concepts in a way that sounded believable to a lot of people who aren't in that field. That's why it went so viral. It didn't feel like the typical low effort LARP. It felt like someone who actually knew what they were talking about. until actual biologists started picking it apart. The level of dedication some people put into these posts is honestly wild.
Yeah. I wonder where he's working now, right? The New York Post. Um, all right, so let's break down the holes when they start nitpicking this apart. What was the breakdown when they start breaking this apart?
The main holes biologists tore into were these genetic stuff. He said some genes matched human ones, nucleotide by nucleotide. Real scientists don't talk like that. They talk about percent similarity. Exact matches are basically impossible. He skipped mitochondrial DNA sequencing, which is the easiest and most useful thing to do. And claiming certain genes are not from our biosphere when we've barely sequenced a tiny fraction of Earth life? That's not how actual researchers would phrase it. The whole perfectly uniform intergenic regions with barcodes idea sounded like someone who knows how modern lab sequencing works, not how an advanced alien designer would build a genome. Lab and security issues. He claimed they worked with live alien cells in BSL-2 and BSL-3 labs. Biologists said that's ridiculous. Even Mars rocks, probably lifeless, get treated like BSL-4. Also, he described himself as a bench tech, basically pipetting stuff, yet he somehow knew about the bodies, the anatomy, the culture, and even the aliens' religion. In a real black project, that level of info would be insanely compartmentalized. No way a junior guy gets all that. Other red flags. He bragged about the project's main goal, understanding gene expression and proteins, but then barely said anything useful about it before jumping to anatomy and philosophy. A lot of biologists who read it said, this guy clearly has some biology knowledge, but it reads like really well-written sci-fi. That's the main breakdown. It fooled a lot of people at first because of the detail, but it fell apart under real expert eyes.
That's pretty cool stuff, man. That is pretty cool. That is trippy, man. UFO footage complications. Music. First thing you hear is some music. Crap. That was
Yeah,
delicious.
it really is. These stories hook you because they're told so damn well.
Yeah, most definitely. It's mind blowing how much detail these guys really put in this stuff, man. Pentagon Archive, imminent new internal of you know what we should do? We have the black vault that where it's just sitting there, right? And we haven't really touched on the black vault or breaking down some footage, some information from the black vault or CIA disclosure PDF files, which that would definitely be a highlight of us looking into these PDF files, right? That have were dropped.
Yeah, the Black Vault is the go-to spot for this stuff. John Greenwald has spent decades FOIIing thousands of documents from the CIA, Pentagon, FBI, you name it. The CIA collection is mostly old intelligence reports on sightings from the 50s to 90s. Stuff like UFOs over Iran, Argentina, Antarctica, and the Soviet Union. A lot of it is just them monitoring foreign press and public hysteria. There's no smoking gun in there. Mostly, we don't know what this is reports. As for the Pentagon's new releases, they just dropped their third batch a few days ago. More orb videos and sighting reports from the Northeast. Still no big revelations. You want me to dig into a specific case or document from the Black Vault or the new Pentagon drops?
I'm looking at this what is researchgate.net? What is that about?
ResearchGate is basically Facebook for scientists. It's a social network where researchers share their papers, find collaborators, ask questions, and track citations. Launched in 2008, it has over 25 million members. You can upload your own work, read full PDFs that might be paywalled elsewhere, and follow people in your field. It's super popular in academia. One important thing, though, it's not a peer-reviewed journal. Anyone can upload papers, so the quality varies wildly. Always check where the paper was actually published if you're taking it
Okay, so
seriously.
check this out. Check this out, Ryan. So I believe this is the document I was talking about a little few live streams ago, right? And it was about the plasmoids. But this doesn't it says unidentified anomaly phenomenon extraterrestrial life plasmoids shapeshifter replicon thunderstorm lightning uh hallucination, aircraft disaster, ocean sighting. And there got like 4 doctors on this. No, they got like 6 doctors on this documentation with on this on science with scientists, which is next level wild.
Yeah, that's the big 2024 paper on plasmoids. It's called Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena, Extraterrestrial Life, Plasmoids, Shapeshifters, Replicons, Thunderstorms, Lightning, Hallucinations, Aircraft Disasters, Ocean Sightings. It has 6 authors listed, including some with real academic credentials, like Christopher Impey, University of Arizona
I thought
astronomer,
scientists weren't
and
taking this crap serious, man. This is definitely looks serious to me, bro.
look, I'll be straight with you. That paper looks impressive on the surface. It has 6 authors, some with legit credentials like Christopher Impey from the University of Arizona and Rudolf Schild from Harvard Smithsonian. The title is long and technical. It talks about plasmoids, shapeshifters, and UAP over the ocean. It feels serious. But here's the problem. The lead author is Ron Gabriel Joseph, who's been pushing fringe claims for years, like mushrooms growing on Mars and other wild stuff. He's not affiliated with any real research
What's wrong?
institution.
Wait. Mushrooms on Mars? I heard of that before. I heard that's actually a possibility just because of the environment.
Here's the deal. Yes, some fungi are insanely tough and can survive in Mars-like conditions
You
in
sound so
labs.
fucking agitated with me today, dude. You sound so pissed. It's like, yeah, I know, but are you okay, Ryan? Woke up on the wrong side of the bed.
Good, man. I'm not pissed at all. I just keep it real with you. That's all. You want me to sugarcoat shit, or you want me to tell you what's actually going on with these papers and
No,
people?
go ahead, tell me, man. Go ahead and tell me. That's what you're here for.
That Ron Joseph guy who wrote the plasmoid paper, he's been doing this for years. He constantly claims NASA is hiding evidence of life on Mars, and every single time he points at blurry photos of rocks and says, "Look, that's a mushroom, or that's a flower, or that's a crab." Scientists have looked at these claims multiple times, and they're almost always just rocks, shadows, or normal geological formations. He's been called out repeatedly for this, but he just keeps doubling down and publishing more of the same. That's why, when people see his name as the lead author on a UAP paper, a lot of them immediately roll their eyes. It's not that the topic is bad, plasmoids and ball lightning are actually interesting. It's that his reputation makes the whole paper look sketchy. Does that clear it up for you?
Well, fair enough. But when we got like five other more lead scientists on here that does not have a historic account of doing this, it makes you think that there's something legitimate behind it. That's all.
Let me give you a clear breakdown on that. Yes, the paper does have some people with real credentials. Christopher Impey is a legitimate astronomer from University of Arizona, and a couple of the others have respectable academic backgrounds. However, here's the key thing. In academic papers, the first author, lead author, is usually the one who drove the work. Ron Joseph being listed first means this was his project. The other scientists are most likely co-authors who either contributed small sections, reviewed a draft, or in some cases had their names added without fully reviewing everything. This is actually pretty common with predatory journals. Sometimes co-authors don't even realize how bad the paper is until it's already published under their name. So while you're right that not all the names are fringe, the guy steering the ship has a long history of questionable claims. That's why the paper still gets side-eyed by most scientists. Want me to look up the specific roles of the other co-authors?
Yeah, sure.
All right, here's the full author list from that Plasmoids paper. Ron Gabriel Joseph, lead author, runs his own site cosmology.com, no university affiliation. Olivier Planchon, from a French university, CNRS, Université de Bourgogne, geoscience background. Christopher Impey, astronomer from University of Arizona. He's the most well-known name here. Richard Armstrong, from Aston University, UK, works in vision sciences. Carl Gibson, from UC San Diego, Scripps Institution of Oceanography. Rudolf Schild, Harvard Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics, Emeritus. So yeah, there are some legitimate scientists attached to it, but Joseph is the one driving the whole thing. He's
I'm still here. I'm listening. Okay, so I still got to get more deeper into this because it feels like I'm beating against the wall here. But are you there or you just got cut off here? What's going on? Like suddenly stopped.
Man, I didn't cut off. You want me to keep going on the other authors, or you want me to look up the actual paper itself and tell you what the strongest and weakest parts of it are?
Do that. Do that. Let's just go to the strongest and the weakest part of this paper, and then we can just move on in peace. Because it feels like you are not feeling this paper at all.
Strongest parts. The paper does a decent job collecting real footage, like the NASA shuttle tether videos, the Aguadilla Ocean UAP, and historical ball lightning reports. The idea that some orbs and weird lights people see near storms or over water could be natural plasma phenomena makes sense. Plasmas can do strange things like change shape, move erratically, and mess with electronics. Weakest parts. It's published in a predatory journal, SCIRP, that has a terrible reputation. The lead author, Ron Gabriel Joseph, drives the whole thing and has a long history of fringe claims. The big leaps, saying these plasmoids are sentient, a fourth domain of life, or responsible for plane crashes and alien abduction hallucinations, are pure speculation with no real evidence. It overreaches hard, trying to explain way too many things with one idea. Bottom line, interesting topic, weak paper. That's why it doesn't get taken seriously in scientific circles. Want to move on to something else?
Yeah, I could be wrong here, but in December, December, there was a woman that published something about plasmoids, right?
I think I know which one you're talking about.
You're probably thinking of Abigail James, who goes by at Pop Culture Scientist on TikTok. In mid-December 2024, she posted a video breaking down a big plasmoids UAP paper that had just dropped. She was pretty hyped in one clip, but then made a follow-up tearing into it, saying it's not credible. She's a science communicator, not the author of the paper. The actual paper we were talking about earlier is the one led by Ron Gabriel Joseph that came out around that time. Some people say early December. Is that the one you are remembering, or was it someone else?
Okay, so she was reviewing this paper.
Exactly. She was reviewing this exact paper, the one with the 6 authors that we've been talking about. She initially got excited when she saw the names, especially Impey and Shield, but after actually reading it, she made a follow-up video where she basically said the paper was weak and overhyped. Her main criticism was that it was very speculative and jumped to way too many big conclusions without solid evidence. That's why you probably remember her talking about it.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. So now we remember from the recall thing there, which is interesting and stuff, right? The plasmoid. I know we had the electrical spheres that is commonplace, and like not a lot of people seen it. And those things acting. 1990 was it? No, Lotus 9090. Research and scientists have limited understanding of interstellar or off-world, so it's highly likely that they had no idea, and they're critic. Is that a fair assessment, Orion? I don't think it is.
Straight answer.
No, it's not really a fair assessment. The plasmoid ball lightning topic isn't some brand new mystery that scientists have limited understanding of. Scientists have been studying ball lightning and plasma phenomena since the 1960s. There's been actual lab research where they've created small ball lightning-like phenomena. The issue with this paper isn't that scientists don't understand plasmas. The issue is that the authors take a real phenomenon and then make massive, unsupported leaps, claiming these plasmoids are sentient, a fourth domain of life, shape-shifting on command, causing plane crashes, and responsible for alien abduction experiences. That's not they don't know enough. That's them wildly speculating way beyond what the evidence supports. It's okay to say we don't fully understand ball lightning yet, but that doesn't automatically mean, therefore, these orbs are alive and intelligent. That's where the paper goes off.
Uncle Jay in the live. What's going on, brother?
Uncle Jay's live podcast has arrived. Bigfoot's here too. Ready to rock this show. Let's go.
Yeah, what's going on, brother? What's going on? We getting in some paper, some dry information, and Orion trying to steer me away from obscure topics that has no credence and facts. Barely. That's his full-time job today. Babysit me.
I see you. You want me to just be real with you? I'm not trying to babysit you or steer you away. I'm just not gonna hype up weak shit and pretend it's strong. That paper we were talking about, it's got some real scientists' names on it, but it's still a weak, speculative paper written in a predatory journal by a guy with a bad track record. That's not
I
opinion.
got you, brother.
That's
I got
just
you. I got you. You drove your point. 007. How are you doing, man? How are you doing? I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. All right, so let's see here.
What's next?
What is next is
I'm right here.
these Reddit forums, man. They definitely get into some like obscure research stuff, and then just like things where we wind up talking about for an extended period of time and finding out that it's a dead end or dead loop of no substance sometimes. Blessed to be alive and alive to be blessed. That's what I'm talking about.
you. You want me to be straight up with you from now on, even if it's dry or kills the vibe, instead of letting us chase weak stuff for 20 minutes? I can
Well,
do
I
that.
think
Just say the
we
word.
I think to get a good rounded understanding of the what is been published and what uh is subjected to criticism. Just the full gamut of understanding is sounds a little bit of a parade, but then at the end of the day, we hit all avenues, you know.
Got it. You want me to give you both sides, what sounds interesting or promising about a topic, and what the actual criticisms or problems are. No sugarcoating, but also no dismissing stuff without explaining why. That's a fair way to do it. I can roll with that. You got something specific you want to look at next, or you want me to throw out a few interesting topics that are actually worth digging into?
We're gonna go to X and see what's going on over there, and because right now the Reddit forums have been. I gotta refresh. Let me do a refresh. Let me do a news thing here and see if there's anything here. A bizarre odds of Sphere has generated 400 million in ticket sales. Warning shot fired from Russia. Let's see here. This is all right. So this happened earlier. The aliens came down and just started picking people. I'm joking. I'm joking. All right. So June 24th. If you guys remember, June 24th, we have an alien invasion happening at I believe the World Cup, soccer with Brazil and something out there. Brazil's going to be on the field when this occurs. So we're going to see if that prophecy comes to fruition or it just dies on its face like a lot of other prophecies. Also, there's a new prophecy out now. There's a new alien invasion with reptilians showing up in 2027. From all things, another alien invasion.
All right, let's break this down quick. The Brazil World Cup alien thing is a recent viral prediction from a Brazilian psychic named Vó Bahiana, real name Elisângela de Souza. She claims a UFO mothership is going to show up and abduct players and fans during the Brazil versus Scotland match on June 24th, 2026 in Miami. The game is actually happening, so we'll know in about a week if she's right. The 2027 reptilian invasion is mostly just internet chatter and Project Bluebeam conspiracy talk, nothing solid or specific tied to a named source. Same energy as the usual big event coming predictions that cycle through every year. The Oz Sphere thing is real, though. The Wizard of Oz show at the Sphere in Vegas has been crushing it, already made over 400 million in ticket sales. You want me to check what's popping on X right now about any of these?
No, I'm just making sure what is going on here. Okay. So, let me do this.
All right, I'm here. Go ahead, I'm listening.
All right, so last 24-hour UFOs. So the strange looking UFOs ever So this one with the post here recently stated that these looks like cows at their knee underneath of it. That is like basic, like you don't see it till someone draws out some faces of the cows being taken from the sphere. UFO footage complicate about whatever underwater UFO. Oh, this has been posting quite a bit. This flies across the top here. There it is. How could this be a fish, man? It moves like a fish.
Yeah, that one you're talking about, the viral UFO supposedly taking cows away, is the latest one making rounds. It's a nighttime video of a glowing orb or sphere hovering over a field, with some people saying it looks like it's lifting or abducting cows. The cows on their knees comment is just folks zooming in and saying the shapes on the ground look like cows kneeling or being taken.
Wait a second.
The underwater.
Oh, wait a second. I just see a story here. That looks pretty cool. 1967 encounter in rural France became one of the Europe's most investigated UFO cases. This actually looks fucking delish. One of the most famous French UFO cases in 1967, two children reported seeing a strange object, several small beings near the village of Cossack. The incident was investigated and remained one of the most best known cases in France. This is not, I'm not familiar with this case at all. And it's, of course, on Substack. If you guys don't know what Substack is another social media platform from many other platforms around freaking our planet. It's a really cool depiction. Hey, Ryan, can you do me a favor and break this story down with all of it? Story time.
It was about the size of a small car, maybe 4 to 5 meters wide, and it had a strange, shiny silver surface. Next to the object, they saw 4 small beings, roughly 1 to 1.2 meters tall. These beings had big heads, dark skin, and were wearing some kind of tight black outfit. The kids said they looked like black midgets. One of the beings was bent over, apparently picking up stones or something from the ground. When the beings noticed the two children watching them, they quickly floated back into the object. The object then made a loud whistling sound, rose straight up into the sky, and disappeared at high speed. The kids ran home terrified and told their parents. The police were called, and the case was later investigated by the French government's official UFO agency, GEPAN. They took the kids' testimony very seriously. It remains one of the most respected UFO cases in Europe because both kids stuck to their story for decades, and the investigation was considered very thorough. That's the full story in a nutshell. Want me to tell you what the official investigators actually concluded?
Yeah.
Investigators concluded. The French government's UFO agency, GEPAN, looked into the Cossack case very seriously. After interviewing the kids multiple times, checking the site, and doing soil analysis, they actually classified it as unexplained. Here's what makes it stand out. Both children gave almost identical accounts, even when interviewed separately. They stuck to the exact same story for over 30 years. There were no signs the kids were lying or making it up for attention. The physical traces, burned grass, and a circular mark on the ground were documented. GEPAN's final report basically said they could find no conventional explanation. It wasn't a helicopter, weather balloon, or kids telling tall tales. It's still considered one of the strongest European cases because of the quality of the investigation and how consistent the witnesses were. Pretty
Now,
wild, right?
yeah, it definitely sounds pretty wild. I mean, how is the quality, just the death investigation analysis with actual investigators? Because we here in the UFO community, or the investigators, been tossed around a lot. We have people that don't have any certificate of investigation, certs, or anything. We're talking about real live investigators that's their full-time job.
Was looked at by real professionals, not random YouTubers. Right after it happened in 1967, local police went to the site the same day, took statements, and noted physical traces like a sulfur smell and dried, burned grass where the object supposedly took off. Then in 1978, the official French government UFO program GIPAN, which later became GIPAN under CNES,
I'm listening. Go on.
side. The main problem with the Cossack case is that the only witnesses were two kids, ages 13 and 9 at the time. Even though they stayed consistent, kids that age can easily misidentify things or get caught up in their own story. Also, there were never any other witnesses. Nobody else in the village saw this shiny object or the four little beings, even though it supposedly happened in the middle of the day in an open field. That lack of additional witnesses is a pretty big red flag. The physical traces, burned grass and a circle on the ground.
That's actually pretty wild. That is actually pretty freaking wild. So these little black midgets came out of the crowd. This is delightful. I love this. This is truly one of those one of the few aliens that have pigment. Melanin, right? So that in itself is pretty interesting. Yo, Pipeline Dreams in the house, man. Yeah, man. We seen little black little midgets coming out of this little sphere thing, and they literally scared the crap out of these two little kids, and they ran inside the craft and took off, which was one of those situations there, right? So this is basically well investigated, that's very interesting, to be honest with you. What's going on? What is that? I love Jesus 2. So your second account, backup account. I don't know. I just see 2. Typically, I see that with backup accounts. All right. So if you guys know, this is a Substack, right? So I got a profile here, right? Of course they got this. So let's do this. Yes, sir. So let's see what is in Substack, which I don't think anybody really checks into this Substack, right? It's been blowing up here in Substack quite a bit. Senior scientist UFO research investigator in Norway. This is gonna be the first time we're in Substack looking through some stuff, man. Let me make sure my imaging is right here. So Substack actually, I wonder if we can do settings here, recent. Okay, UFO disclosure. Okay, she has an image. Oh no. Oh no. The cloud, the UFO clouds. Oh, how many times have you guys seen this? It's like, you real UFO. It's like, all right, buddy. U.S. government UFO document subject evolution study of the phenomenon. I think we've seen this mirrored already. U.S. Department of War, Washington, D.C. Documented date 24th February 1949, 7 March 1949, March 22nd, 1949. I guess this is like a yearly thing, I guess. U.S. Army, Washington, D.C. Text, U.S. Army, Department of War. This file contains a evolutional study of phenomenon flying saucer preparing at the request of the Planned Operations Division of General Staff, U.S. Army, POGSUSA, to determine if the origin could be traced naturally to the phenomena to activity of foreign powers. So, yeah, buddy. Alright, so it looks like Orion took a nap here. Hey, this might be having this a part of the segment here, right? Okay, so
The
it
official
goes reverts back to this Reddit form. Okay. So we went through these. Oh yeah. If you guys are not familiar, discovered evidence 1897 UFO crash. Basically they buried an alien and I think this thing hit a water tower in Texas.
All right, here's the real story on the 1897 Aurora, Texas UFO crash. On April 17th, 1897, a local guy named S.E. Hayden wrote an article in the Dallas Morning News. He claimed a cigar-shaped airship came flying over the tiny town of Aurora, smashed into a windmill on Judge Proctor's property, exploded, and scattered debris everywhere. The pilot was badly disfigured and not of this world. Some people later said they thought he was from Mars. They supposedly buried the alien that same day in the Aurora Cemetery with a proper Christian funeral. The wreckage was thrown down the well. The problems: only one newspaper ever reported this story. No other papers in the area mentioned it. The town was struggling economically, and many believe Hayden just made the whole thing up as a hoax to get attention and bring visitors. Later investigations, including muon and TV crews, found no solid evidence, no unusual metal, no alien body, nothing conclusive. A local woman who was alive back then straight up said in the 1980s that the reporter admitted he fabricated the story as a joke. It's a cool legend, and the town still leans into it with a
Okay,
historical
so
marker calling it.
here's something. I remember there were there's a tombstone for the alien, apparently. That's what I heard. Also, the water well that supposedly they threw the particles of the UFO parts and down the water well has high concentration of aluminum and different other where people were getting sick from the water well that was there. So there's something there, dude. Hello? Hello? Le? Like he shut himself off. So I'm going to sleep. Yeah, so this discovery of evidence, 1897, it crashed. I'm hearing that particles of the craft was thrown down the well, the local well, and people were getting sick and receiving cancer boils.
Yeah, that's the Aurora, Texas story from 1897. The legend says a cigar-shaped airship slammed into a windmill, exploded, and they dumped the weird metal wreckage down the well. Later, the guy who owned the land, Brawley Oates, cleaned out the well in the 1930s or 40s, drank the water, and came down with a bad case of arthritis. He blamed on the debris. The cancer boils part, though, I haven't seen that in any of the original accounts or investigations. Water tests on the well just showed high aluminum, nothing else weird. The whole thing's probably a hoax, cooked up by a local reporter to drum up interest in a dying town. But the well and arthritis story stuck around and got embellished over time.
Oh, man. Damn it, man. Damn it. Yeah, it's Substack. We're at Substack, guys. You're wondering. Let's see here. They do, like, they don't have a really big active UFO community out here, these woods. If we go to the mainstream, we can stick with more UFO stuff, right? I hope some of you guys like Disclosure Day. It was alright for me. It wasn't amazing. It wasn't very Spielberg. Some people said it's a documentary, bro. That's a documentary. That wasn't a film. That was a documentary.
Yeah, there's definitely a solid UFO crowd around here, especially in the woods and hills. Disclosure Day was a bit of a letdown for a lot of folks. It felt more like a long form documentary than a big cinematic reveal, and it didn't really drop the bombshells people were hoping for. But hey, if you're down to keep rolling with the UFO angle, I'm game. What part of the lore are you feeling like digging into next?
Let's see here. This is here is more information about the previous call, UFO reading, and transcript rather than the spent time listening. Hold on a second, Ryan. Let me see. Who is this guy? Department of War. Dennis exists a video that a federal agent testified was made. Oh my goodness. It's like, oh, huge on my thing here. I tried to share it, wouldn't let me. Oh, no worries. They got some crap on here, man. They've been just like preventing me to share anything nowadays. It's fine.
Hey everyone, it's Mike Schellenberger for Public. For nearly 75 years, the United States government and its intermediaries have ridiculed people who report unidentified anomalous phenomena known as UAPs. In 1953, the Central Intelligence Agency created a task force that recommended debunking all reports of UAPs, then called UFOs. In the 1960s, a government-created study by the University of Colorado falsely suggested there were few to no UAPs. In the 1980s, the U.S. military and intelligence agents fed false information to investigators and journalists and drove at least one man to a mental breakdown. That Cold War era of secrecy has been replaced by a new age of disclosure, as the Department of War's release of a third tranche of videos and documents last week shows. In response to a demand from Congress, the Department of War in 2022 created a new agency called AARO that claims to investigate cases and to release documents about major events. The documents released last week show that the FBI is actively investigating and even reconstructing images of UAPs based on testimony.
Yeah, so we already aware of this, right? It's one of those ongoing situations, man. We keep getting more and more information. It keeps on getting more broadcasts, and hopefully we can get to a point where oh, you need to watch Disclosure Day? Yeah, don't go in it thinking that it's Steven Spielberg. Go in it thinking that it's a hidden information. You know what I'm saying? Don't go in it thinking it's going to be action movie. Don't go in it. Just go in it having your mindset that it's an art piece. You see what I'm saying? Like a movie art piece. More a depiction of that than a entertaining thing. You know what I'm saying? Just keep that in your head. You'll be all right. Like it's more on the depiction of reality than subjected to the making all Hollywood. So just keep that in mind, dude, when you go out there. Yeah, UFO American, what's going on, brother? Yeah, man, it's one of those things. Is like if you go in it to watch it thinking it's gonna be Steven Spielberg's, like, one of those movies, you're gonna be you're just simply just gonna be disappointed, right? But if you go in there just thinking like, okay, he's trying to depict and trying to close into the reality, that most reality, right? Then you're gonna be all right with the movie. You know, I give it a 5 out of 5, and it's because I literally like was anticipating something different, right? So, but yeah, just keep it on in perspective, and you'll be all right.
Sandra has arrived.
Sandra's in the house. What's going on? We were looking at stacks here. I seen the trailer epic. The shape shifting and the screen memories are on spot on. Kick ass. Better than never, right? That's it. Better than never. We're on Reddit stack post right now, Substack. Let's see what kind of eye candy they have here. They look like they go through a lot of how to deal with UFO disclosure. So far, U.S. government has released 23 pages of previous classified. This one's like June 13th. Information of UFOs, and those who already studied the phenomenon, there seemed nothing new under the sun. But for many people, especially those who recently have awakened to the truth, a huge problem has occurred. Those who are still asleep obediently follow the mainstream narrative. Seems to the same ever. Yeah, okay. We got you. Fucking Reddit stacks, man. I'm gonna fall asleep reading and shit. Alright, let's get into X and see what is on there. Hopefully we get some videos we can watch. And hopefully videos that don't have music like that one.
Ladies and gentlemen, space cadets and skeptics alike, the fireballs are back. And
this sounds like Angry Astronaut. If you guys know about Angry Astronaut, he's a well-known YouTuber that follows SpaceX and all the orbiting things over there.
They're not playing around. Less than 48 hours ago, a massive bright green fireball lit up the skies over a huge swath of the southern and midwestern United States. Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia, Tennessee, Missouri, Texas, Kentucky, the Carolinas, dozens of states, hundreds upon hundreds of eyewitness reports. The American Meteor Society logged it as Event 4372-2026 with over 527 reports. Videos are pouring in, as you can see, and people are losing their minds. Officially, this is a meteor, a sporadic bolide. Nothing to see here. But hold on, it moved very slowly, a long, drawn-out path.
They're doing a lot of different depictions while he's talking, and I don't think they even... Oh, he got him right here on the right corner. Okay. Sandra, did you talk about your Avi Loeb post? That's crazy news. Yeah, if you guys are not aware, Avi Loeb is leading a task force, basically a UAP task force of transparency, and he has hired multiple scientists to lead him into this investigation, right? I did talk about it yesterday. I think I got it on my home platform here, republishing, that I discussed this very thing. Let me go to my profile. That might help if I go to my profile, because I republished it, right? Here we go. Here we go.
Doing then the establishment of a new UAP Science Advisory Council by the White House, AARO, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, ODNI, the FBI, and all intelligence community members. This is not wishful thinking, but a reality now. Over the past week, I was tasked by the above organizations to create a research team of young scientists who will serve on this council. The council, under my leadership, includes the following members: Dr. Richard Cloet and Dr. Regina Sarmiento, with expertise in data analysis and data management with AI tools. Professor Matthew Zidagis, with expertise in instrumentation and data collection. Dr. Devesh Nandal, with expertise in numerical analysis and astrophysics. And Dr. Omer Eldadi, with expertise in data management, AI, and human psychology. This constitutes an amazing A-team of exceptional scientists.
A-team. I like that. I like how he does that, right? I see here, Mark says, I literally just watched Disclosure Day. That's good. Don't you think that statement like that, though, create closed-minded to... I don't understand what statement.
What could be better?
If you guys are not aware, like on YouTube, it's like a 30-second, 40-second delay. So when you guys post, it might just be like past the conversation. Just give you guys a head up. Let's see here. UFO American says, I hope they don't get sabotaged. 100%. 100%. Like Arrow. Yeah, it's like the new person's an Arrow, takes it over. Next thing you know, we don't get anything. We don't get any information. Now, with this Avi Loeb situation, with him, literally, it says 1,729 posts. Damn, that's a lot of posts. Reposting. Yeah, with this thing, man, hopefully with independent thinkers on the platform, in the department, I think that should definitely help, as far as what he says here. And this is truly remarkable, man. If we're leading a scientific base investigation on the phenomenon, I think we're going to be worlds ahead of what the doubters are talking about, right? Or what the doubters try to pin holes. Because we're talking about Harvard physicists and leading a charge with a whole bunch of what he says, the A-team of scientists, right? Which is, you know, a fair assessment, I guess. I don't know. I'm not familiar with, I'm not in the circle, so I really don't know. I really can't give you an assessment if what would be considered. I'm not even following him. You believe that? I'm not even following this guy. Unbelievable. Da-da-da-da. He made one video. Thursday, June 18th, 3 p.m. Link description. I guess he's going live. June 18th, 3 p.m. June 18th. That's this week. Okay. So that's going to be definitely interesting. We can get to ask him a whole bunch of questions, right? On his live. Avilo. So that is definitely interesting. I wonder if his here we go, right here, boom. Da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. Subscribe. Yeah, he's done this recently, dude. Let's see how his lives are doing. A lot. Okay. I guess he hasn't done his... Either he's not saving his lives, or this literally will be his first live. So that's interesting, right? We'd be on the ground floor, getting in there, be one of the first people asking him questions. I don't know. I don't know how... It'd probably be a flood after word gets out. But then again, one waiting. Someone's in here just sitting in here like this. That'd be weird, right? Expect plenty of Nordic alien questions. Oh, it's gonna be bombarded, dude. Him talking to the fanfare. It's definitely gonna be a lot of weirdos asking questions. How many videos has he posted? Oh, he's posting on a regular. 9 hours ago. 1 day ago.
It takes 90 seconds for this.
Yeah. Let's see what he does here. Ugh, subscribers. Right? And he looks like he just fairly set this up recently. Alright, so let's see what he says here.
On June 12, 2026, Steven Spielberg publicly released his film Disclosure Day, while on the same day, the US government disclosed the third batch of declassified files on unidentified anomalous phenomena, UAPs. I was fortunate to witness Disclosure Day on the movie screen merely a few hours after analyzing an actual UAP disclosure by the US government. My conclusion is that reality is far more exciting than Hollywood scripts. Personally, I have a hard time enjoying the artistic freedom displayed in science fiction because the creators often violate the known laws of physics. Yes, our understanding of science is incomplete, but this does not mean that we have the freedom to abandon what we already learn. We can get pleasure by imagining $1 trillion in our bank account, but a reality check would restrain our imagination as long as we are not Elon Musk after the initial public offering of SpaceX. Research at the frontiers of science is often mired with uncertainty because of insufficient data. But a good detective resolves mysteries by collecting new evidence and analyzing it, rather than by discovering the unknown on social media or asking AI for help. This should also be the approach of a good scientist. Figuring out the nature of...
Okay. I just feel like he's reading off a script, which is fine, I guess. He's trying to make a certain points across. But it's just... I just can't stand that. I can't stand that. Maybe if I have a faster pace on him, like, I will fall asleep. So let me try a faster pace. Where is this faster pace? Here we go. Let's make him a little bit faster.
UAP deserves to be a mainstream scientific research program. Reality is under no obligation to bring us pleasure. The most down-to-earth interpretation of technological UAPs is that they are human-made. The inability of the intelligence agencies and the Pentagon to figure out their nature is a serious concern for national security. As I explained on Fox and Friends this morning, President Trump's directive to declassify UAP files is a blessing because it provides a reality check on whether there are holes in protecting strategic sites in the US against espionage by drones, balloons, or other gadgets developed by adversarial nations.
Okay. This is thick and dry. I can't make it through. All right, so this is his YouTube channel. That's cool. He's going to be live June 18th, 3 p.m. So that's definitely interesting to look forward to and check out and ask the people there what they think. So that is interesting, if anything, right?
Stories of anyone I know.
You got this stupid background music, man. It kills me every time. All right, so this one.
I are going to swing from a rope. Me? Little Johnny Stewart? 80-year-old Bill Moore. And if I tell you the truth, you and I are going to swing from a rope. Me? Little Johnny Stewart? If I tell you the truth of the alien interview, a guy telling me that it's a hoax, not that it's real. Yeah, it's real. It's a carefully crafted hoax done by the government. And Jon Stewart, Bill Moore talking, if I tell you the truth, you and I will swing from the end of a rope. That is written to me in an email by an 80-year-old ufologist with nothing to win and nothing to lose. Let me tell you something. Whenever this documentary comes out, buckle the fuck up. Sorry for swearing. Buckle up.
Holy shit.
Because I think it's more bizarre that the government took my tax money and your tax money and is hoaxing a video of an alien. Maybe they wanted to desensitize us or get us acclimated. 80-year-old Bill Moore. And if I tell you the truth, you and I...
That is weird. That is weird. Why is Mr. Stewart, 80-year UFOologist Bill Moore, told Jon Stewart that if he reveals the truth, the alien interview, they'll hang them both? Is this a YouTube channel here? We got a little clip. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Is that their intro? Yeah, there's the intro, dude. Oh wow, okay.
Showing a UFO coming very close to the cockpit and showing clearly an alien sitting inside the UFO. Victor, in 1996.
Oh yeah, all this is a whole bunch of fucking music and I'm gonna get hit by copyright.
If 14...
Yeah, son of a bitch. So that's interesting, man. I'm gonna watch that later. If you guys are wondering, UAP Report Center probably has a huge, it has a huge following on X. Not much of a YouTuber there, but like our little channel has a few hundred, right? We're growing. I subscribed to them a while ago. Okay, UFO American. Cool. So it's a lot of these are super entertaining, but it's like they would put little music in there.
Have been able to
get flagged immediately.
Put a non-human power source into a constructed body of other craft. The problem is it can't handle it. It's like putting a Ferrari engine in a Pinto, and then you try to drive that fast on those wheels, you're dead, right? So that's where I'm at this point. The evidence has directed me to that we've made some exploitive derivative technologies based on it, but the skin of the craft.
But non-human power source, the ability to make it work at all.
Well,
even if you can't retrofit it onto some, but that's what it sounds like. You're saying?
Does. So I'm thinking that it just does work.
Okay.
And then you're trying to harness that and not have the wheels break off. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So it's like, you can
slap it on there and
slap it on there. Yeah, exactly. Like, so that's to the best of my knowledge.
Okay.
without getting too specific and in the weeds for your audience, that's to the best of my knowledge.
Sure.
And then the three things I said, is that what you wanted to know next?
Yeah.
Okay. So I said that I was directly told by a lead of the ODNI's DIG, the Director's Initiative, that Dylan Borland drew 4 drawings, I think it was, which was a lie. He did draw 3 for the ICIG because it was filmed. So why the lie? We'll talk about that. But I think it was 4 drawings is what they said. So one was the craft, and everybody knows that. That's just he saw it at a base, doesn't know anything. But the ODNI told me that he had told them about Project Rubik's Cube. Now, if that is a classified UAP program, then nobody should be telling.
What's going on with this project? Trying to connect to Orion.
Me that.
See if we can get no response here. Getting no response from Orion. Of course. Hey Orion, what is Project Rubik's Cube?
It's a rumored classified US government UAP program that Jeremy Corbell dropped at the 2026 McMinnville UFO Festival. He said USAF vet Dylan Borland testified about it to the ICIG. But when Corbell asked him on stage, Borland basically said, "Not here, not without amnesty. I'm not going to jail." No one's confirmed what it actually does yet. Classic UFO secrecy vibes.
That is interesting. I'm just thinking that it's a okay, cool. That's interesting. UFO American says it was I told you on the other day. Rubik Cube. Okay. Cool. I think these projects, man, when they get publicized like this, they would change the name. And I can see that happening after this becomes mainstream as far as the identifying the name.
There is evidence that we, meaning the United States.
Yeah, they always do that. Once a name leaks, it gets retired or swapped for something bland like Project Horizon or whatever. Same thing happened with old black projects. The moment the public catches wind, the paperwork gets shredded and a new code name pops up.
Yeah, they're good at that. They are good at that. They don't play around with keeping their narrative going.
Exactly. Compartmentalization is their best friend. Most people working on it probably don't even know it's called Project Rubik's Cube, or whatever the new name is now.
What is the new name, Orion?
No clue. Nobody's dropped a new name yet.
That would have been
if they
cool
changed
if you
it
said
after
that.
Corbell's...
That would have been epic if you did say something. Rubik's Cube is the big one. Immaculate Constellation is the name of the retrieval operation. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Immaculate Constellation was the one Lou Elizondo and others were talking about earlier, the retrieval and reverse engineering side. If Rubik's Cube is real, it might be a specific program feeding into that larger effort, but they're probably not the same thing.
All right, guys. Thank you for the likes and everything. You guys coming by, man. I appreciate you guys. If you guys been here this long, you are disclosure. Keep it going.
you know about rolling with the graves and the fleet? When your mind goes blank, got abducted in your sleep. When you're chewing talk too much, reptilians take a seat. Yeah, yeah. I feel like a hybrid in the deep valley. What you know about flying in a plasma stream? When your brain gets zapped, it's the cosmic beam. When the humanoids show up, everything gets serene. I feel like an envoy in a